For those of us who are a part of this kind of mindset, I've always called it the conspiratorium, partly in jest, but not really. The conspiracy clerisy. We've always believed that the story you're given as to who runs the show isn't real, isn't even remotely accurate. And the names that come up for us have always been Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum, globalists. But George Soros, number one. And we always have asked, where is he? Why isn't he in prison? What's going on here? Is he protected? Is he internet? Does he know stuff people don't know? Is he a proxy? Does he represent really the bad guys when in fact there are other people who are far more devious than he is, far more problematic? With that creepy son Alex and his wife Huma Abedin Huma. Cory Booker is getting married. He's got a wife. I'm going to let it go. Do you think she knows? Anyway, I'm sure she does. Look, Mazel Tov. Anybody who has this, terrific. But George Soros has always been the focus of our attention. Why is it not? Trump sometimes will say something every now and then, and it makes a lot of people feel like, maybe the fix is in. Maybe, believe it or not, Soros is one of them, and he's being pushed out as the rodeo clown, as the limited hangout. He's the bad guy, when in fact he's not. But what George Soros doesn't do is topple nations with armies. That's not what he does. He replaces them with ideologies. This is the theme of Lionel Nation. This is it. Keep all your weapons, keep all your military, keep all that stuff. I want thought vectors. I want the concatenation of ideas merging. I want to weaponize and collectively put together the serialization of thought. George Soros' Open Society Foundations, they're not charities. They're mobile regime change machines disguised as philanthropy, exporting the same formula that destabilized Serbia, Ukraine, and Syria. The color revolution playbook is brutally efficient. This is the way it does. First, create NGOs. Then train activists. Then flood the streets. Then demand international intervention, all while praising democracy and slowly erasing identity. This is what this guy does. This is his MO. And we all know it. Soros funded it overseas. Then he brought it home. And we know it, but you never hear his name. You'll never hear it on cable news shows because they're in on it. They're a part of the game. Remember, cable news is creating the illusion of illumination. They're creating the fact of, look, we're telling you what's going on. They don't tell you anything. That is why right now America protects him, while Hungary, Turkey, Poland, and Russia expelled him. Washington sees him as civilian camouflage for operations too delicate to admit. He's our guy. Not a billionaire meddling in politics, but a deniable arm of influence where laws get rewritten and cultures reengineered without a single ballot is being counted. He has been unscathed and untouched for a reason. You don't have him here and then nobody charge him with anything. I mean, come on, stop it. Remember the big three: Comey, Big Tish, and Bolton. That's it. There is nothing. I mean, we just pretend like, why you? Okay. George Soros funds prosecutors who refuse to prosecute and activists who refuse to disperse. He's the guy. He sets up, think about this. He pays for prosecutors to come and not prosecute. The Alvin Braggs and others. Borders are blurred. Crime rates spike. And trust, whatever your trust is, collapses completely. And every question is labeled extremism. That's not charity. That's warfare. This is warfare without uniforms. I know I say this, and I know I try my best to explain that. And I know I do my best, and I know sometimes I have a very difficult time, and I always have been. And when you're me, well, that's what happens. When you're me, that's the way it goes. And it's something that I'm kind of used to. It's something that I'm just used to it. I try to tell people to say, do you really want to be a part of it? Yeah, well, not really. Not really. I mean, do you really want to? Because my existence here is very lonely. It's very sad. I don't believe in anything. And I think the most important thing, I think that how do I say this? I think that what's most important to anything else, I think that we live in a world where people really have to understand how things work. And I think people really need to grasp it. It's something that I think they don't. Well, we just proceed. Look, George Soros represents Klaus Schwab. We know who Schwab is. Everybody is. Everybody is. Everybody knows. We know this. Have you ever talked to friends of yours who don't know what you're talking about? I talk to people constantly, and I'm used to it for almost going on, my God, close to 40 years. Certainly, yeah. Yeah. And when I first started doing weekend talk radio, talk radio was 37 years ago, 1988. I've been doing this. I was saying stuff that, look, I'm not trying to pat myself in the back, but I was talking about guns, Second Amendment rights, and they said, this guy's crazy. I said, what are you talking about? This is the First Amendment. They said, what is this guy talking about? I said, this is the First Amendment. And you have to understand this. In order to be us, me, and I'm your leader, we have to understand, we have to swear fealty to the idea that we're going to be talking about things that other people don't. My beloved wife talks about AI and kids' toys, and they look at her like, what are you talking about? I don't think they understand. I don't think people understand AI. I don't think they do. Have you ever tried to explain, not that I'm on that level, but remember when quantum mechanics kind of came along and particle physics and the split wave and the Schrodinger's cat and all that jazz, that we as kind of, pedestrian physicists kind of understood? They know nothing about it. The level of information, their base, what they know, is something that people can't relate to. Years ago, I remember I had a friend of a friend who was married to her husband, was from some other country or whatever. I don't know what it was. Spoke English, but didn't understand the cultural reference. Didn't know what the Three Stooges were. Didn't know what little things, where you say, like, you don't know what that is? No, what's that? Okay. And not that it's critical, not that, Mo Howard is critical to a happy marriage, but when you don't understand, rock and roll, if I say disco, what are you talking about? After all that builds up, it's a frame of reference that you have to do this. And I have a frame of reference, and I think we share it, that most people don't have. And it's not that it's not better. Well, I think it's better because it's more accurate, but it's not that it's more complicated. It's not that we're smarter. It's that it's different. And you have to grasp this thing. And people are always asking, who's running the show? Cable news will talk about Trump building a ballroom or the seditious six. Do you really think those Congress people mean anything? No. No, but that's allowed. When you watch cable news, understand something. That's what they allow. That's what is the watered down version of what this is. Let me explain. I believe that the best food in the world is not processed. If there's one thing I believe, I'm not vegan, I'm not that. I try to be. I mean, it's difficult. Whole food. If it's a plant, if it's a bean, if it's minimal processing. Bread, you got to process a little bit. You got to mill the, but I mean, aside from that, if it's refined, if it's processed, if it's blasted with chemicals, I don't want it. And you feel so much better. I don't want to get into detail, but you feel great when you eat real, honest to God food. Raul Rodriguez, thank you so much. Buenas tardes to you. Buenas tardes, good afternoon, good evening, good evening. Remember that song, Que sera, sera? Whatever will be. That means what evening, what evening. They mean Sara, S-A-R-A. That's the supposed word. But I digress. It is important for you to grasp the idea that you have to hear the news unprocessed. Get it whole. What is happening? And in order for you to hear it, you have to have somebody say, let me give you this plus a little bit of background. I was talking to a younger folk the other day. We're talking about Operation Gladio and stay-behinds. I don't know what I'm talking about. If you don't know, because history, for most of us when we were in school, history was the most boring thing in the world because we always had I don't know about you, but we had a PE coach or some coach taught world history. I have no idea. Like the worst people, he never explained it to us. What does this mean? Now I understand it for the first time. And now. So when you go back to the issue of Soros, you have to understand a few things. What is this guy about? And what you know and I know is this thing, the power of distraction, and the power of you being put somewhere else. It's so interesting. My biggest beef against our group is so many of us think we know everything. My biggest beef with the normies, and I love that term, normal folks, is that they pride themselves on what they don't know. I don't watch cable. I don't watch this. I don't have TikTok. They love to tell you what they don't know. Soros represents Klaus Schwab's dream state. This is a borderless world managed by experts where ordinary citizens surrender their traditions to global planning. Remember this. Ultimately, an AI kicks in to formulate this. You will not be given choice. You'll be given options. Options that have been determined for you. George Soros is not just one man. He's a model for the next ruling class. And if America does not stop him soon, nobody will. This is beyond anything I can put into detail. And when you try to explain this to people, when you try to say, yeah, let me explain it, again, they will look at you in a way like, oh, there you go again. Because maybe this is you, but I don't know about maybe you, but I am constantly being treated like I'm some kind of like a crazy person or something. I don't know what the word is, but I'm always, and a lot of people do this. They think I'm crazy. I had somebody recently on Facebook, some old friend of mine, who thought I was nuts about saying that there's geoengineering. They thought I was crazy. He said, what are you talking about? Geoengineering, what? I said, yeah. You mean chemtrails? I said, no, not chemtrails. No. This is the thing which is so this is the part which nobody grasps. I'm constantly, again, I'm maybe you are too, living in a world where people, they don't know anything. Imagine going back in time and you knew about cancer and you say, you might want to put those cigarettes out. Why? Because of COPD. And what? You're in the 1800s? Cancer. COPD, emphysema. What are you talking about? Ignat Semmelweis said, you might want to wash your hands because women in hospitals were suffering from this post-pregnancy problem, and they couldn't figure out why. And they found that the doctors were going and doing a lot of experiments in the morgue, and they didn't wash their hands. This wasn't Lister, by the way. This is Semmelweis. And he says, we might want to wash our hands because, and they look at me, what are you, crazy? And the doctors actually, remember, they would sit in operating theaters with the suits on, wussy. What? What are you talking about? But that's it. That's it. That's the thing which is the most important. That is so unbelievable. And I know what I'm talking, and I know it's true, and I'm telling you. And this is the part of what we need to do. This is my kind of my goal, so to speak, if that's possible. This is the thing that I want people to know. I want to make them so smart. You have no idea how many times I am told that I'm crazy. And I'll say, no, let me show you this. They go, I don't want to see anything. And I realize one thing, you must understand this too. People don't want to hear what you have to say. And there's a couple of reasons for this. And thank you again, Raul. Thank you for your double valedictory, or thank you very much. Not valedictory, your introduction, or whatever you want to call it. This is the thing you got to understand and grasp. What's critical is, if you want to get into this business, people will always tell you that you're crazy because they don't want you to constantly tell them something they don't know. What if the greatest threat to American sovereignty, think about this, isn't hiding behind a foreign flag? Not Muslim Brotherhood, not Zoran Mamdani, not Marxists. But what if it's living comfortably right here in Jersey and whatever, in plain sight, inside our borders, waiting for the next moment to strike? And an unelected billionaire who plays open chess with entire nations. This guy's a financial arsonist who has collapsed currencies, fomented, ignited uprisings, which, by the way, that's what Ukraine is all about. And he dismantled borders, all while smiling for Vanity Fair. And that creepy son of his, right there. He's not hiding. See, that's the best part. These people are not hiding. None of them are hiding at all. How do you explain this to people? How do you tell people this? How is it that you say, let me explain to you? There's so much stuff I want to tell you, but I'm going to get to it. How do you do that? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to hear this? Where? Tell me. You will hear it on various places. You will hear it. There are some people, and they're very, very good. And some of them are they're a little bit disparate, but they're part of it. And whether it's Alex or whether it's Alex Jones is still, remember, number one. The others come and go. The others, they're kind of trying this out. Tucker's a good guy, but Tucker's still trying to figure out what it's like to be a revolutionary. Alex has been doing this for so long, he knows all about it. It's not that new to him. I'm not trying to. Candace Owens is trying it. Steve Bannon and other people, and General Flynn and Roger Stone. There's a lot of good people out there, a lot of them. But they're this new group, and they're always pushed out as being crazy. Let me tell you something. Roger Stone makes more sense than... Do you know this guy was with Lee Atwater? He's been around forever. This guy is just... How do you say it? How do you put this into words? He is incredible. And he is a font of information, a font of data. But because he's not those idiots on, cable news or CNN or whatever, people love Scott Jennings. Have you seen him? Scott Jennings is good. Scott Jennings is as close to his job is to dispute what other people bring up. Scott Jennings, right, his name, right? No, CNN. He doesn't advance anything. He refutes. So if somebody doesn't bring it up, he doesn't bring it up. People are still trying to figure out. They will come around with geoengineering. I'll always throw that one in for you, because that's the part that I think is the most important. But let me go back to what I'm saying. Soros is hiding here. There's no, in plain sight. This is a guy, he's living like a king, comfortably, right here, in the open, inside our borders that protect him. He's waiting for the next moment to strike. This is this unelected billionaire who loves to play, thinks he's playing chess with the entire nation, and he's allowed to. This is a financial arsonist. Why doesn't Trump do something about this? I don't know. Look, there's stuff you and I have to understand, that we have to realize and recognize that there's stuff going on we will never know about, and nobody will ever tell us what to do. But this guy collapsed currencies. Think about somebody who ignites, this kills me, it ignites uprisings, a person who, this is the most important. Imagine a person stirring the pot, and we worry about stuff like what? A little uprising. Oh, they attack the Apple store, or look, in Grand Central, these pro-Palestinian. Okay, that's good. What about bigger areas? Oh, we're not interested in that. That's a different story. Why? Why in the name of God is that true? How does this work? We have to do everything in our power to let the world know that we're here and that we are right. And you can't be afraid of it. You have no idea. I listen to people, and Mrs. Ellen and I would say, oh my God. This is our constant refrain. They think that's it? George Soros is, they call him a financier. He is the prototype. He is central casting for the global elite's perfect operative. This is kind of the civilian face, the undeniable big shot, the wallet, the public relations shield for a shadow government strategy that looks eerily similar to some worldwide psyop, some psychological operation. And in many ways, he is the spiritual twin of Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab was so perfect because Klaus Schwab came out of nowhere. We love Klaus Schwab. I mean, he is Schwab is the Davos doctrine incarnate. I mean, he is Mr. Globalism. And all of those people. Do you see where David Beckham is on the World Economic Forum WF board? Oh, yeah. Do you see where the Rockefeller Foundation enlists Mr. Beast? I hope you're watching my other stuff. Did you see how I brought up but Syed Qutb and the Muslim Brotherhood? This is like this. Again, I use the word concatenation, a simultaneous blast of influences all at once. It is your duty to spend every waking hour learning as much as possible. And when you see people like Schwab and others, the living embodiment and Soros of regime change, sold as philanthropy, this isn't the new world order of tomorrow. It's the one here. It's already here. This is, I want you to understand this and grasp this. It's here. It's happening. Nobody is going to be talking about this. When you mention Soros, a lot of people will say they don't like him, but they can't really tell you why. He's creepy. He's got the accents, got that creepy son with the Lou Wasserman glasses, that kind of like, they don't really know what it is. But this is a guy who replaced the army. Empires used to use soldiers. Soros, and by the way, whether he's the front and center guy, I don't know, but he uses think tanks and college kids and agitators and NGOs, non-governmental organizations. His open society foundations are forward operating bases for ideology. They teach activists how to target weak institutions, how to weaponize social beefs and grievances. They teach people how to use social media to agitate. They know how to pressure law enforcement with optics and perception. They know how to collapse kind of narrative trust, like your belief in the narrative in the story. And what does he do? He replaces it with experts, the expert consensus. He doesn't conquer territory. He conquers thought. This is what it's about. It's not about land. It's not about that. The war today is ideas. And are we getting out to young people? There was a piece that came out today where young people are becoming more and more decidedly disgusted with mainstream media news. And it's critical for us to go out there and teach these people, to show these folks exactly what it is. We need our own kind of a youth brigade. We need, I don't want to say Hitler youth, but he knew. We don't seem to know that. We mock youth. We always have. Our society, oh, you long-haired this, and we never understand what's happening with that. How do we go out and how do we recruit people? How do we do it? We don't. When Soros would enter a nation, he pours money into universities, media outlets, art foundations, and human rights fronts and groups that you never would thought. And then he moves from culture to law, and then from law to power. Do we do that? No. We'll just blow out boats into Venezuela a little bit here and there. We don't have any long-term plan for this. Who is our George Soros? We don't have one. We always respond. We're like Scott Jennings. He goes on and he responds to some stupid thing that somebody else says. And if nobody says anything stupid, he doesn't say anything. By the time that citizens wake up, their elections and their judges or prosecutors or newspapers speak in a foreign accent. Not his literal one, but the way he thinks. This is the color revolution age. If you know history, Serbia 2000, was the beta test. Ukraine in 2004 was version 2. The Arab Spring was the global rollout. Each followed the same template. Pick some stubborn leader. Frame him as an authoritarian. Create then NGO networks. Train youth activists. Remember Operation Wall Street? That was Otpor, O-T-P-O-R. I was telling people about this. And they go, I don't know what you're talking about. And that's my middle name. I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. It's tough sometimes. They trained youth activists. They sparked street chaos in front of cameras. They could tell you in the Maidan organized riot, they could tell you how to have songs, how to you're going to love this, how to actually build, how to attack, how to move through the areas, how to have signs, how to use chants, how to almost the way you converge. They almost had like military folks who explain this. The moment the police respond, you call it a crackdown. And then you demand democratic reform backed by Western pressure. Libya and Syria got the fast lane version. Remember this? Remember Gaddafi? He warned millions. He warned that millions would flood Europe. They did. And Soros' NGOs were waiting to welcome them. This guy is, I mean, he is right there. But we don't talk about him. We talk about things like the ballroom. Or we'll look at Bill Maher and waste. Listen, that's nice, but it's like, what are you doing? That's processed food. Those are like hors d'oeuvres or something. This is the perfect strategy for the weak and the arrogant. That's what this is. Remember, no tanks, no invasions. I can't say this enough. This is the critical part. The idea of having military is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. There's no need for this. None. No tanks, no invasions, no fingerprints. Nations aren't destroyed. They're kind of hollowed out or cored out. The flags remain. It looks the same, but the decision-making is outsourced to well-funded movements. From Belgrade to Cairo to Kyiv, name it. The symbols change, but the fingerprints don't. U.S. aid. Remember, NED, National and the Endowment for Democracy, Open Society Foundations. They remain the trifecta of global compliance. And then it gets better. Then came the obvious battlefield. Here, America, right here. Soros is banned or restricted in more than 8 nations. Yet here he is, treated like he belongs on Mount Rushmore. Why? Because every president, every Congress, and every attorney general understands the unspoken rule. You don't touch the man who funds kind of like off the books operations. You don't expose the man who does what governments can't. You don't indict the man who has shaped history for your own side. I mean, he's like untouchable. From overseas operations to domestic reality, he is there the whole time. This is something that we talked about. You know who talked about? A lot of folks have been talking about, believe it or not, this notion of, I guess you'd call it, this notion of color revolutions. And they're important, and they're very, very critical to understand and to grasp. The color revolution now targets the U.S. See, Soros fuels the prosecutors who refuse to prosecute the bad guys and those who prosecute the good guys. The activists who refuse to disperse, the nonprofits that guide illegals to the border, the media that calls any concern extremism. By the way, the folks that the media who think that this seditious six are terrific, the ones who basically call and support military turning against President Trump, these are the folks, these are the ones I'm talking about. Now, listen. I have to stop because there's one thing I've learned. Slow it down. Don't hit people too much. If I talk too much about this, you'll kind of look at this like, what? It's too much. It's too much. It's like drinking from a fire hose. And I understand this because we don't do this. You have to know where to look. And by the way, once you're aware of it, I'm not the only one saying this. Everybody's been saying this. Everybody. Do you know the other day, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was talking about the benefits of fasting. And fasting, or apoptosis and hormesis and all of this other kind of jazz. Autophagy and things that we know just automatically. And he said, wait a minute. isn't that dangerous? It's like, what are you talking about? This is the year 2025. He never heard it. Never came across it. I don't know where you are, but I'm getting intermittent fasting, this fasting, 5-day fasting, 2-day fasting. I mean, everywhere. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's like, wow. People who, I say it again, don't understand geoengineering. They still call it chemtrails. They don't understand it. And there are a lot of people who, by the way, Pilgrim, thank you. Remember when he started the British pound? Oh, yes. Remember how he basically, listen, everything he did was allowed to do. Remember that. Nobody stopped Soros. But it is incumbent upon you, not me. You don't want to sit back and say, well, let's wait for that next video on Soros. No, not on Soros. I want this to be the inspiration, and you do it. If I give you a new one about Mr. Beast, did you see what I said about Mr. Beast and the Rockefeller Foundation? The Rockefeller Foundation they were responsible for women's lib and the destruction of the family. They wanted women to go to work. Why? More tax base. Get them out. Destroy the family. Remember how many people had a mom who worked at home? That's going to be the rarest of the rare. And these folks absolutely, positively had nothing to do with this. These folks were responsible for something which was so important and so critical. I can't say it enough. I cannot say it enough. Listen to what I'm saying. We are talking about something which is so monumentally frightening, so scary, that I got to tell you something. It's something that I don't know if you can really grasp, but it's something which is really, really, really critical. Your job, if you intend to take it, Mr. Phelps, your job, your critical job is to understand something which is beyond important. I can't do it. You can't do it. We can't do it. Trump can't do it. Nobody can do any of this unless and until you absolutely grasp the criticality of what's happening. I cannot say this enough unless I explain to you why you have to absolutely do everything in your power to understand this, to grasp this. I'm going to say this again to you. Many of us have never done this. I know people who never really, how do I say this? They unless somebody tells them what to do, they're not going to go looking for it. Unless they go to school, they're not going to go looking for this. Nobody is going to help them do this. Nobody is going to, I don't know what the word is. You have to take it upon yourself to learn everything and to use this incredible sense of information, whether it was ChatGPT or OpenAI or Gemini or whatever it is, to be able to learn. You can, the next time you're in the shower or shaving or bathing or whatever it is, take your your phone, go to ChatGPT, write, tell me the history of George Soros. And you can also give it a particular phrase, a particular tint, a hue, a phrase. And then you can put it on speaker and you can listen to it. Create your own news. Create your own. What do you want to know? What is the Rockefeller Foundation? What does this mean? What is Operation Stargate? What is Operation Paperclip? What is it that you want to know? You could just ask it. You have whatever you thought the internet was before is nothing compared to this. What you're seeing right now is beyond anything anybody ever even thought was possible. It is something which is so important. Everything I'm saying is an introduction to you. It is, I hope, a means by which you can perhaps be inspired to learn something. We are involved, many of us. I've seen people, especially my age, they're involved in this in intellectual torpor. They get to a certain age and they slow down. They don't realize it, but their whole big thing has been, retirement. The billionaires, the people who move the world, Soros and others, they never retire. Never. I mean, they might, quote, slow down, but if you pull them out of the action, it kills them. We love not doing anything in our country. We love it. We're used to this. It's this thing that, I'm sorry to say, makes sense. My dad was in 2 wars. She was with us at all times. My dad was in 2 wars. She was with us at all times. I don't know who she is, but that's interesting. I hope we don't have, by the way, we still have, Pilgrim, we do have world wars now. We do have wars, and these wars are something which are so important. You got to understand and grasp this. We are in world wars now. And this world war that we are in, this world war has nothing to do with bombs. I'm going to leave you with that. Again, I don't want to I've been doing this for 40 minutes. This is tough stuff. And I know it's not fun. But what makes us different from the rest is that we are not complacent. We are not going to give up because the subject matter is tough, because this is dark stuff. This isn't fun. And it's also tough because you will never see this on cable news. You'll never see this anywhere. You'll never see this anywhere. You will never see this anywhere. On conventional media, it's only here. And you got to know where to look. And you have got to subscribe to X, which is still the best platform. Have X learn what it is you're looking for, and it will bring you. For example, my account looks different than anybody else's. They might be all sports. It learns what you want. It learns what information you're looking for, whether it's conspiratorial or globalist or anti-globalist. And it is incumbent upon you. Nobody's going to make you do this. You have to get into shape. I know more people who are interested in their golf game or whether they could do 5, hand pull-ups or whatever the hell they want to do. This is all they care about. I know more women. I'm sorry to say this, who are so interested in their face than you could ever imagine, or interested in pretending they're living. I don't know what it is. I just don't have time for them. I don't have time for this. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, you're not doing this for you. You're doing this for them. This is serious. I want you, my friends, to do me a favor. A huge favor right now. A favor which is beyond favors. I want you to go and I want you to follow Mrs. L. And she has right now, this is at Lynn's Warriors. At Lynn's Warriors. Go and find out. December the 2nd, there is legislation coming that is going to blow your mind. You have no idea what is being done regarding AI and big tech. For those of you who are of the belief system that says Israel is the most important, the most powerful lobbying group, not even close. Big tech owns our government at every level. Not everybody's pro-Israel, but everybody's pro-big tech because of the money. Money that they can proudly show. Because what Congress will do now, they'll come up with a great, hey, we have this new program. It's called Protect Children in the Crib. I just made that up. And nobody reads the legislation, but they read the name of it. Just like No Child Left Behind. And you read it, and they have nothing to do with kids. Nothing. But you don't know that. But they'll say it, hey, they have lobbyists. Forget AIPAC. I'm sorry. AIPAC, these are pikers compared to these folks. You have no idea. This is huge. So what Mrs. L is doing, please follow her at Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Lynn's Warriors. Go right now. She's got videos. You have to see this. And nobody's talking about this. Nobody. It's so interesting. We are led, not you and me, but our country is led like sheep. In any event, I thank you for this. Have a great day. Please follow me here. Make sure you like this video. Subscribe to Lionel Nation. Lionel Nation. Lionel Nation is critical. And until we meet again, my friends, as we always say, remember this, as I always tell you. And I'm going to have some questions and follow-up for you. The monkey's dead. The show's over. See you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. This morning, or tomorrow, Monday morning, 1 to 5 on WABC, overnights. Listen. These folks, bless their heart, they're into terrestrial radio. They don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, so I've got to kind of be careful, but listen to me. Because when you hear what I say, you'll say, oh, I know what he's talking about. And you know people are saying, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Believe me, there are people who have no clue. But I'm going to try to get to the masses through every portal there is. Because I want to change the world for the better. And all I got to do is just turn the light on. That's it. In any event, have a great and glorious day. Until later, remember, stay subscribed, because I'm going to be popping up later on with different things. So in any event, we'll talk then. Okay? Good. Now I can say, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That.